make a lemon pudding, steamed lemon pudding. It's so easy. I'm telling you, it's one of the best desserts I've ever made. It's so simple and absolutely delicious. If you're a big fan of, like, you know, when you go to a coffee shop and you get one of those lemon bars, it's kind of that sensation. It's very lemony. It's really light and airy. It's perfect for, you know, kind of the end of a meal. It's great. You're gonna love it. So we're gonna kick it off with like 2 eggs. All right, also a little bit of buttermilk. All right. And the buttermilk's gonna give it a really refreshing, clean flavor, and the eggs are gonna be pretty much the structure for the whole cake. And what we're gonna do is kind of separate these guys. You got 2 bowls here, and we're gonna put the whites in one, and 2, all right, the yolks, what we're gonna do is add 2/3 of a cup, so you wanna get like a wet measure, a measuring cup itself. We're gonna add the buttermilk to this, all right? And again, the buttermilk is super light. All right, it's got a very lemony flavor to it. It's almost acidic, it's just really clean. So we got 2/3 buttermilk, boom. And that's gonna give us some volume in our cake. All right, just like that. All right, and then we're gonna add the zest and juice of a lemon. Now, when we're talking about trying to pull some flavor out of stuff, extracting flavor, there's more flavor on the outside of the lemon than actually on the inside. Now, the juice is really acidic, it's very fresh, but the flavor, the essential oils, is all in the skin. So what we're gonna do is take one of these microplane jammy guys, and we're just gonna pull all of the zest off as possible. Okay, and knock all that in there. All right, boom, and then we're gonna cut this thing in half. I want about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. All right, so I'm gonna squeeze it through my fingers, make sure we catch all the seeds. So we're gonna mix all this together, and this is the wet part for our lemon steamed pudding. It's gonna be really delicious. All right, so we got that. Now let's talk about our dry ingredients here. All right, I've got some flour, and we're gonna pull this in, and I need 1/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. Then we're gonna add 2/3 of a cup of superfine sugar, which I've got right here. And I've got lots of sugar in my cabinet. But superfine sugar is like regular sugar, but it's ground up, so it dissolves really well. I've got a 1/3 cup measure. We're gonna do this twice. So we have 2/3 a cup of superfine sugar and our flour, and boom. Then we're gonna add a little bit of salt to this, just a pinch. And then we'll take another whisk and make sure we stir all this together so there's no clumps. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold the dry into the wet, okay? So I got this guy right here, and we're just gonna sprinkle the dry and almost kind of thicken the yolks. And this is the best way to do this versus adding the wet part to the dry part, because then you're gonna get clumps for sure. We got 4 souffle ramekins that we're gonna butter, and then we're gonna sugar. Because once our batter gets put into the souffle cups and it goes into the oven and starts to cook, it's going to creep up the side, so the butter is going to start to melt, and the sugar is going to hold the dough together and also kind of give you a really kind of sugary crust on the outside. So it's a nice little texture. So we're going to take all the sugar, we're going to put about 2 tablespoons into one of them. All right, and then check out this technique. We're going to take the sugar, we're going to roll it around the souffle cup. All right, and as it starts to spin, you can see it's starting to cling onto the butter. All right, and then we've got one, and then we take the same sugar, move it on to the next one. We got 2 bowls here, one with yolks and buttermilk and all-purpose flour, and the other whites that are whipped to a nice stiff peak. You want to incorporate the egg whites without really deflating them. We're going to fill up our ramekins. They've been buttered and sugared halfway. And what we're going to do is fill our bain-marie, our water bath, halfway up the ramekins. And if you can see all this beautiful steam coming off the top of here, it's going to create a really moist cooking environment. It's going to let our lemon pudding cake start to steam. The texture is sensational. All right, so it's going to go into the oven, 325 degrees for 60 minutes. You need a whole hour to do this. You can totally bake these off ahead of time. Don't worry about it being super warm. They're great at room temp. We're going to take a knife, kind of go along the outside. This is absolutely gorgeous, gang. You're gonna love this, okay? You put it on a plate, you invert it, give it a little tap, and isn't that gorgeous? The whole thing kind of comes out, silky soft, very, very lemony, and really, really great. And what we're gonna do is gonna serve this up with some fresh berries, all right? We've got a nice little combination of blackberries and blueberries and raspberries. Everybody loves it. So we're gonna load the plate up, then we'll hit it with a little bit powdered sugar. How gorgeous is that? Steamed lemon pudding.